Okay, I'll call the meeting,
Bob's
Okay,
first.
okay. Am I there now?
Yep, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Thank
are.
you.
All right, sorry about that. I was also, is Trace, she not showed up yet? I thought she might be coming by Zoom.
Nothing yet.
Okay, okay.
all right, let me call the meeting to order and we'll get underway and I'll take you. I'll call a meeting of the Nantucket Cemetery Commission to order for Wednesday, November 12th. I declare we have a quorum present and roll call vote.
Roll call. I'm here, Jason's here, Fran's here, you're here. And we have Charlie and two guests.
Oh. Should we go around the room? Okay, let's go around the room so we get them on the tape here.
Walter Truslow, the memorial.
Francis Carter.
Charlie Kowalski.
John Truslow, the memorial.
Jason Leonard.
Lee Saperstein, secretary.
Alan Reinhardt, chair.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, we are under way here. Let's start with the report from the field, from the cemetery people that have been doing all the work out in the field there.
Okay. John's got some paperwork that.
So we've been working at Newtown, obviously. We basically are getting to the end of all of our stones. I mean, I think there was 74, something like that. We kind of went over, we're probably gonna end up with like close to 90 finished that we always do a little bit extra. This is the treatment report that the town requires us doing. So it basically outlines every stone and what we've done to it. You know, if it's epoxy, cleaning, resetting, how it's all done. So every single stone has that in here. And then we treated the whole cemetery. That's kind of ongoing process as they get clean. Some of them need to be pointed and like hairline fractures need to be addressed, but as they get clean, we'll be able to finish that. We got to have the stones clean to do that. But we're probably 90%, 80 to 90% finished there. Yeah, it's kind of where we're at with that.
Wow.
We have a couple of tall tablets there.
Yeah.
That we have supported now that we're going to address by either adding a little bit more of a foundation to them because they just seem to be a little top heavy. You know, they did fall over and when we picked them up, the brownstone bases, we repaired them, but I think we're going to need a little bit more extra bottom weight to hold them because they are probably 1.5 feet or better taller than the average stone. So,
More by the Seagrove side.
yeah, by the Seagrove side, there was a couple over there that are propped up. So we were over there working today. We found one not far from, I forget which name it was. It wasn't Coffin, but there was one of them there that was a very familiar name. That I seen a little spot this big and missed it before when we dug it up and we found an old stone that we're going to put back together.
Yeah, there's a couple of those as we went through that were on the list that we had that we were like, oh, here's one, right? And we just, nature of it said we got to fix it. So we just kind of go around. They're not on the list. So,
But we're there pretty much.
Cool. It's amazing. I've been into, check the cemeteries and it's, I think you've done a marvelous job as far as correcting, setting the stones up and getting everything so it looks good.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you. It's an ongoing process, It's an ongoing process. Some of them are a little challenging because they were in 4 or 5 pieces.
we have a couple like that, like the Gibson stone where they're real sugary. I don't know if you remember that. What's that? New North? Old North. I get them all. I'm confused.
Yeah.
But they're past, you know, we set them very similar to that way. We had a discussion about that. And we put those in, there was just nothing really left to it. So we kind of put everything back together the best we could. And that's where we're at.
Exactly.
There was a couple, I think there's two that are like that, where they're all broken apart. So try to put them all back together and keep it low, so there isn't a chance of it falling over.
When I came to visit you at Newtown, I saw a stone that was in several pieces that you had kind of boxed at the
Mhm.
moment. And to tell you the truth, I was quite surprised that you were putting it back together, and I have great hopes for its future.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an ongoing process, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I
You know,
I know.
and like I said, some of them there that we put back together, we have to re-support them. We're trying to put them back together and not specifically dowel each one, because that's sometimes where your problems lay. The water does get in there and the moisture, and they do split. That's where you'll see a lot of the 3-tiered one stones where they rust the pins and it breaks them and then they go over.
I mean, we would use aluminum or stainless steel.
Yeah,
Fine.
Graphite pins, something
You
like
have
that.
issues with that.
Yeah.
We've seen setting big memorials, even new that are manufactured. We don't
Yeah,
use that. Now with epoxies, I mean, there's a
yeah, but
whole,
the epoxies now are stronger than the pins. You know, and you don't have to worry about the pins, because some of the monuments, with them being older, when you go and you drill them, you're only making a weak spot. So that's, we watch quite a bit, and some of the ones that you would think that you would pin, those are the ones that we're spending probably a lot more time on. You know, to try and keep them secure. So when they're broke off right at the ground level, that's the challenging part. Sometimes we go, we cut them and trim them and take out the slot base of what was broken and cut it and then reset it, you know, pour lead around it. Like we have one that we're gonna be pouring hot lead around to try and hold it in, because that's the old style. We have lead wedges in there now holding it up. But what we'll do is we'll probably melt lead and put lead around and pound that in, that'll hold it into the slot base. That's what we were talking about today.
Mhm.
There's now maybe 2,
yeah,
3 of those.
What, do you put anything over the lead or do you leave it exposed?
We leave it exposed.
Yep.
Yep, we leave it exposed, because the joint on the slot base is down maybe 2 inches. And this, and with the tablets being higher, there's kind of that movement. So we secured and repaired the slot base, but now we need to go and section the top piece
So
too.
is what, is that what you're gonna do, the ones that are top heavy, the ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe make a little bit, John, we were talking, maybe dig down and maybe make a little bit more of a footing below ground.
so it's secure, because right now it's kind of just, I
Yeah.
mean, that stone originally was set on top, but now that's not a good idea. So we were just trying to make the necessary adjustments for that,
Yeah,
for the longevity of it.
so, I mean, those are some of the issues that we have, you know, just to try and. Because the wind does have a big effect on them, you
And the
know,
deer,
yeah,
you've seen the
And
deer,
mowing machines.
well,
Oh, yeah, the.
yeah, that's a whole nother,
yeah, we don't, yeah,
that's a whole nother rascal,
yeah, that happens everywhere though, you're not singled out,
yeah.
Well, I think it's also.
you know,
The only thing is this, the salt and the fog too, is that's why I was asking about the lead. I was just wondering
Yeah.
how it was gonna deal with like that, just.
yeah, we've done it in the past, you know, and we haven't, and some of the stones that are in there are lead.
That's how,
No.
that was how it was.
You know, they are lead sunk, you know, in the old school of how they used to do it is that's pretty, where you take and you pour it all in and then you pound, heat, pound, you know. That's,
Something we were just tossing around as an idea, if that would be plausible for what we wanted to do. You know, we'll,
because you got 2 different moistures, you have the marble and you have the brownstone, sandstone, so
They're both absorbing.
they're both absorbing at different times and falling out at different times. That's why some of those top pieces are broke. You know, there isn't
And,
much
Yeah,
in
there's
there.
concrete.
And then if they start to lean, the brownstone just breaks away. So. But.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, we put the report together. Normally, some of those stones probably would have happened a little sooner, that they would have gotten a little bit more white, but with the lack of rain,
Yeah,
you don't get the activity of the D2 cleaner as fast. We were,
but it may
it will,
eventually.
it will.
Oh, yeah,
do it.
well, we've done, I think, 4, 5 applications. I have to look at my book.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness, really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're gonna keep getting
Yeah,
whiter.
yeah, I
It just takes, you could probably see, if you've driven past it, you've seen it just wick off the dirt.
And what's odd is if you go into Old North, Newtown, if you go in and you stand by the flagpole, you'll see that it must be the weather on that side. They're whiter than when you go on the street side.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, it
interesting.
seems like you
In
get
the way-
more weather, or the way, I don't know. But they're all whiter on that
Yeah,
end,
we do have prevailing winds.
Yeah,
like that, yeah. But they seem whiter and cleaner there than some of the ones in the back were still, like John was spraying them today.
mhm.
Can
Yeah.
I ask about this, yellow, I suppose it's lichen, that it seems as if in the last few years it's become very aggressive. And does it eventually, degrade the inscriptions?
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have a cemetery now that we're working in, that the people are interested, the town is interested in just putting the stones back. But I was over there walking around and I was cleaning some of the stones, and I've actually noticed that the lichen is actually eating the marble. And you're starting to lose the integrity, where you're starting to see the heavy grain of the marble come up, and the rest of it where the lichen was, it's kind of destroying it. So it becomes something that, yeah, the monument's standing, but if any much longer, you're not even gonna be able to read it.
We did scrape almost all of Newtown though, which
Yeah.
was kind of outsider. I mean, I scraped almost every stone in there. With,
Yeah.
plastic scraper going through and removing that to
To try
not
and
have
get
that,
off.
not have that get any more aggressive. Persoko and, can't think of the manufacturer, does make an actual, marble strengthener to bring the stone, instead of it going that way, it brings it this way to keep the integrity of it, and it absorbs it in. It's just an option down the road,
Let me ask about marble as opposed to, say, granite. Because going forward, right now, we have put a monument in the, Quays Asylum Cemetery. Now we're talking about putting one more monument in the Colored Cemetery, and we've had discussion about vertical versus horizontal and marble versus granite. And I'd like to hear your opinion. If we're going to put something in that we want to be lasting, what's
Granite.
our best choice?
granite.
The marble that you're gonna get, the black slate, extremely comes out of Pennsylvania, extremely expensive. For what you get. The marble, for any duplicate work that we have, comes out of Putney. It's not the exact same marble that you would get here.
You're
It's
talking about Putney, Vermont?
Putney, Vermont. You get,
I've been there.
yeah, you get the white marble out of there, but for the granite, once and done, that's it.
It's also different grades of granite though.
There are different,
I
yeah,
wouldn't recommend anything out of Georgia because it's very high in content for water. So it wicks water. It always looks wet, really. I would get something more out of like berry.
Scott McIver, who's a commissioner who is not here today, is the one who's been giving us, our options for the monument we're planning.
Mhm.
And I assume Scott knows exactly where he would choose to send us the granite.
Yeah. He would get it, he would probably more than likely get it out of Barry, Vermont, or New Hampshire, maybe, but like John says, anything out of Georgia.
Don't
The
do.
heat and the atmosphere of Georgia is completely different.
I
And
would not get it out of Georgia. You'd be very, very upset.
Yeah.
Cause it just shows the vein of water in it, and then it gets cold and it snaps. Just my personal opinion. I mean, we sell a lot. I mean, we did Somerset. How big?
The Somerset monument that we just set was 9.5 feet tall.
Yeah, I have a
And
picture of it.
almost, the base on it was 10 foot. So and we carved 942 names in it.
57.
957, we cut 957 names in it. And
Oh my
all the
goodness.
fluted, that's 5 different pieces of stone.
Well, and where's that?
It's in Somerset, Mass,
For the town.
for the town. We cut all of that. It
It was a lot of work.
was a lot of work.
Very fancy decorations
Yeah.
inside.
And all the letters on that are all hand drawn and lithochrome. And there's a sealer put over the top of that lithochrome dye. It's not a paint, it's more of it's a dye. Once we get done sandblasting, and while we have the mat on it, the fiberglass, the rubber mat, then that's when we lithochrome everything. You know, but that will be forever.
I'm a granite fan.
Yep.
Calcium hardness of 3, feldspar 6, quartz and 7.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. That's well, all the Sconset Rotary that we did, that came out of Vermont. That was
Rock of Ages.
was the Rock of Ages. Yep. It was what kind was that? That was
Woodbury.
Woodbury gray. That's what we were told to use on that, which we did. It carved well. It carved well. That was put on our CNC machine.
Great, well, thank you. Thank you for the update. This is, well, as you probably know, this is kind of a long-term project. We've been working because there are these 5 cemeteries with monuments in them. And as we've gone through each one, now, of course, I think the 2 largest ones in the last year that we did.
New North seems to me to have even more stones than Newtown.
Mhm.
It's right, it's total, but the number that we're requesting repair on is pretty close.
84, right? 80
There's a
something.
difference of
It's
4.
like, yeah, yeah.
Well, you guys are doing a great job and
Thank you.
thank you. So,
Quaker.
Yeah, so we were looking at doing, donating a slant marker for Quaker, kind of to basically honor the cemetery side that doesn't have any markers per se. So we were kind of, did I send you that photo? I have,
We can, if they approve it, we can work on the details.
okay, yeah, so basically it's a slant marker, kind of like this. Charlie has a photo of it, or we could email it out. And we were gonna do it, and depending on what you guys would want to put on for literature, Quaker Cemetery.
This would go kind of where we put the sign up on the street for that side.
It was just an idea we had. It was,
yeah,
Because the sign that's there now serves a purpose, because so many people come in from that street. And many of them are clueless that it's a cemetery. Or I had a conversation one day with camp counselors who had brought kids to play there. And I said it was a cemetery, and she said, oh, it's just up there in that corner where the headstones are.
Well, that's what we thought.
She had no, so we have thought about what we're going to say. And if you don't have it, I'll dig it up again
Sure.
and we can discuss it.
mhm.
But I think it would be just lovely to have that.
Yeah. we would be, ecstatic to do something like that. And we would do like a 3D rendering with a detail, so you'd see exactly what it would look like before we ever did anything. But it was just an idea. I think I was speaking with you about that at Newtown, and I was like, this would be awesome to do something over there for.
Yeah, because we didn't realize when we saw Lee, when we saw you, then you said there was 5,000 burials.
Hmm.
You
Well,
know,
it's an approximation.
Well,
yeah, right.
Yes.
But I was like there, because I always said, Jesus, it only seems like there's this small section and all that land. And we're like, oh no, that's,
Yeah.
it carries the whole way.
The Quakers simply bury people as they died, so when they have someone buried, they would just bury them next to the freshest grave
Yeah.
until they filled the place up pretty much. But 5,000 is an estimate based on the years in Nantucket from the time that cemetery began being used until Quakerism fizzled out. And what percentage of the population over, say, every decade was actually Quaker. And as the population rose and fell, so it's a rough estimate. However, the Nantucket Historical Association's research library has been closed for this month for some work, but it will open in December. And Barbara and I have this plan that we will access the Quaker death records and try to come up with an actual number. And if we can do that, it would be just the thing to put there to say
Mhm.
there are this many documented burials.
Burials, yeah.
Yeah,
One of my favorite little pieces of publicity about the Friends Cemetery is a letter to the editor of the Inquirer Mirror complaining about chickens in the cemetery. It was outrageous. Had to get rid of the chickens in the cemetery.
One of the things that I learned is that although they are the Society of Friends, they were not always friendly.
Oh, no.
And they broke up into they schismatic breakup into different sects. One of which decided that they would accept plain monuments. The other 2 or 3 sects remained with no decoration, which is why we have that limited number of stones.
yeah.
50, 52, 50.
Something like that, yeah.
But the sign up on the corner of Matticat Road and Prospect Street, which really has to get repainted, it says that the Hicksites who had the headstones were considered heretical friends. And I've always thought the whole concept of heretical friends, I mean,
It's a kind of a contradictory phrase.
Yeah, exactly.
but
A
you know,
non-sequitur.
I think that what that sign says is just perfect. But we don't want, I think, or need to replicate that on the other side. Barbara and I will see if we can come up with something that will be
Yeah,
more
yeah,
accurate.
That'll work.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'd be more than happy to cut it and put it in.
what
Yeah.
a nice gesture.
Thank you.
Great. All right, well, thank you again for all the
We give
work
that
you've been
to you.
doing and all that
Okay.
sort of thing. And this would be very handy to have this, all the data.
Yo, yeah. We'll have another one, probably in maybe 2 to 3 weeks, like just an addendum to that.
Yep.
With the rest of them that we've worked on.
Correct.
But, yeah, okay.
Good, well, thank
Okay.
you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great.
All right, have a good rest of your day.
Yes.
See that.
Apparently you need to watch out for deer on the Matticat Road.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what we
I-
learned from all of this.
Yeah.
All right.
Ladies, gentlemen, thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Take care.
Looks like trees.
Let's try something.
Okay, approval of the minutes from our last meeting, August 8th. Those minutes were circulated. I'd entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I move to accept the
Motion to approve
minutes as written.
and second.
I'll second that.
Okay, we'll go roll call, Fran,
Aye.
Jason.
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Those minutes are approved. Hope Cemetery, we've had some activity up there. We have a lot application for Kathleen Walsh.
Wait a minute. What's her name?
Kathleen Walsh,
We have
W-A.
a note here.
Hmm?
Only agenda says Kathy.
Who's held?
Right, that's a separate one. We have a separate one.
Oh, so there's two Kathys?
Yes,
Oh.
well, there's a Kathy and a Kathleen is what I think.
So is it Kathleen Walt?
Kathleen Walsh, and she is going, she purchased a lot number G9.
Mhm.
Okay, that explains it.
Okay.
Okay, and so we have a motion and a second to approve that sale. We just went.
Shall we do them all together?
Oh, okay, yeah, let's do them all together then.
So number one is Kathleen Walsh purchasing a lot, G9 in Pulpus.
Correct.
Okay,
And then we have two monuments. Kathy Held in lot I-28, and Maureen O'Sullivan also in lot I-28.
Oh, it says I-29 here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I-29.
I'm sorry.
With George Davis.
Yeah. Okay.
Is George Davis who it's for? It says Maureen O'Sullivan, lot I-29, George Davis. What
Right.
does that mean?
Yeah, well, Maureen and so Kathy held this lot I-28. Maureen O'Sullivan and George Davis are both in lot I-29. And that's the,
Do we have any kind of picture or sketch of the monument?
yes. Didn't we see it? Scotty had pictures of it, and I thought he showed them at our last meeting.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
Vaguely,
Maybe
but-
I just saw the pictures of them, but basically, the one stone for, I don't want to make it any more confusing than it is. All right, maybe we better wait until we get the pictures of them, but I thought we had done this.
Do we have the paper applications?
No, that would have come in last month or whenever. I know Scotty has photos of the proposed monuments that they wanted to put on. And I was thinking that he had shown them to us at our last meeting, but okay. Well, let's postpone those then.
Okay.
So,
So then we'll move the Kathleen Walsh, the G9 Pulpus.
Yeah.
That would be Lee as the motion.
I second the motion.
Okay.
all in favor? Brant
And
Aye.
Aye.
and chair votes aye. We have another monument situation this is in New North Cemetery. And this is the Craig lot. The Craigs purchased this lot, and they have, there are several burials in that lot section. There was a stone for an infant that had died back in 1940s, back in the 40s. And that stone had tipped over and so on. So Sherry Craig, the daughter of the owners of the lot, wanted to restore that monument. So she talked with I think she talked with Neil about doing the stone, and they are resetting that stone. They're taking it off, the points are there, they're cleaning the stone, and they're gonna replace that stone. And then Sherry Craig wants to be buried in there. She hasn't turned in a monument application yet for that.
But she's already an owner of that.
Yeah, she's already an owner of that lot, so.
So we can't really approve it until she.
Yeah, right, exactly, until that's up there.
This is an update.
Oh, okay, there's the update, we just did that.
New North,
Yeah, well, New North that's what Walter was,
New town, so New North, we had 2 submissions on the bid, and as long as the references check out, we'll probably be awarding to LMC. As the low bidder. There was quite a difference.
Yeah.
Of almost $250,000 between their bid and the high bid.
wow,
So,
it's expensive to work here in Nantucket.
yeah, it was kind of shocking to see the difference in cost. I did a little look at the high bidder. Part of me wonders if they fully understood what we were asking.
Okay, but you had 2 valid submissions and
Yes.
then they're poles apart.
Yes.
And this is with the ground penetrating.
No, this is for continued work. So
Oh,
New
okay.
North is the last of the cemeteries to do restoration work
It's
in.
Old North, and that's not on the agenda, but I was gonna ask about it under new business.
Yeah, I need to reach out. They're under contract, so I'm going to reach out to Hagel. I can't remember the company, but it's on my list. I was looking at their
Okay,
contracting today. I think figured they wouldn't. That's for
That's the ground penetrating.
it's ground penetrating for the I'll say
Who's there?
blank section of Old North. It's one of those we put them under contract right at the beginning of kind of fiscal year, and so I figured they wouldn't come out in the summer. But now that we're getting into the slower season, I was going to reach out and inquire as to their.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see what the
I
results
do
are.
too.
So I think we come to Newtown
To Newtown.
Cemetery and Tracy is right there. Tracy's talking and we can't hear her.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah, I have trouble with the microphone on my laptop, so you're gonna have to look at my big face. So I've been trying to get on one of your meetings, and every single time I have a conflict, but I wanted to kind of go through where we're at with Newtown and trying to put forth a warrant article. And so we really need to have what I would call a perimeter plan, because there is no plan of record of the layout of the cemetery. So part of the process would be that you could do a perimeter plan, what we call like an 81L plan that can be recorded. And I had talked to Charlie about this a while ago, like probably last year, actually, about whether you have any money in the budget to create a plan. Dan Malloy from Site Design Engineering is doing the plans for the Nantucket Education Trust, which abuts the cemetery. Their project will abut the cemetery. I talked to him about it a bit to see what would be involved. And, there's no plan of record for the school property either. So it's interesting. And so they have to gain the markers and get the bounds in order to create a perimeter plan. So I do think we need it. And I think it would be helpful in moving it forward for the warrant article as well, because the only way you can identify anything is through the GIS. And you can look at plans over the course of time, and it shows just like little portions of a cemetery. It doesn't show the whole entire thing. So go ahead, Lee.
Hi, Tracy. We do know that the 1913 assessor's map shows the entire cemetery, but I agree with you, that's not necessarily a recordable plan because it was.
It's not a plan. We need a plan we could deed off of.
I understand.
Or a plan for taking, to put it a different way, we would need a plan to take it by eminent domain to then convey it.
We could do that too. As you know, I carefully researched all this. And my assessment along with Fran is that it was part of the common and undivided land of Nantucket, town and county of Nantucket. And because they knew they owned it, they never recorded it.
Right, but that doesn't mean that it's hard to convey something that doesn't even have like meets and bounds in a deed.
I'm with you, Tracy. We do need a plan. As far as monuments are concerned, there may be corner monuments from properties adjacent. The abutting properties may have located corners.
So there's definitely, for the layout of Sparks Ave, there's definitely a bound that, you know, that would be an easy bound to create. I think that Dan is going to create that backside bound somehow anyways. And so what I would suggest, because it's not going to be cheap, is you could get some estimates from different surveyors, or you could at least get an estimate from Dan on what the cost would be before you move forward. But I would just choose, you know, 3 different people maybe to get estimates from to see exactly what the cost is going to be. And so I just wanted to let you know that, because I think that's going to take some time. And I think while we wait for the title to be vetted out. So the other thing I think I mentioned once before is town council has ordered a certified title from a land court examiner, because if we were to ever be challenged, we need to make sure we have a certified title for that. So that's the other thing that's being done. And I'm hoping, I do have it on the list of my warrant articles for May. So I'm hoping we can move forward with that so that we can get the authorization as well.
Tracy, it's the best news I've heard in 5 years.
Well, I'm trying. It's, you know, it's usually 2 steps forward, 5 steps back, but I think it would be helpful to have a perimeter plan. I don't think it will hurt you anyways, you know, in any way. And I do want to make sure you understand it's not going to include those like 3 parcels, I think they are. Just do the perimeter the way it is on the GIS for the cemetery. I think it's.
That's another challenge.
It is, but it's one we're going to have to cross later on. So the 40, 42, and 44, don't include that, just make it 46. Because those other parcels, those other parcels, are harder to verify in terms of like heirs of title and things like that. And I just don't think that we can move forward with those 3, but we can continue to work on that later. It's better that you get something. And I think, you know, whether or not you can add to it later or figure something out later is a better course of action.
What a terrible mistake that was. They were divided in 1998 to provide a path or road up to Allen's Way. So it's not all that distant.
Hey, Tracy, it's Charlie. Can you send me Dan's info on exactly what I would be asking him for so I can reach out?
You're asking him for an 81L perimeter plan?
Yep. Okay. Can you send me his contact info?
Oh, sure. Yep.
Excellent. I'll reach out and start working on that.
I presume that we have 2 or 3 town surveyors whom we use.
Sure. Yep. So we'll reach out if he's already doing work in the proximity, if his number is decent. He's already there.
All being well, he should be,
Yeah.
it should be reasonable, but we never know.
Yeah.
The Water Commission did some work for us, this was years ago, as far as laying out Pulpus Cemetery, the markers and so on. That might be a possibility because they have regular licensed survey.
They do have surveyors, Alan. I suspect, and I'm looking at Tracy for some kind of confirmation, that the Water Commission may have very qualified surveyors, but when it comes to preparing a legal plan, they may not have the experience.
Well, could
Any-
be.
Pretty much any surveyor can do an 81L, you know? They just have to have the right qualifications to stamp the plan.
Oh, okay. PLS?
Yep.
No, yes. Yes,
And the plan does have to be signed by planning, but it's not like a, you know,
PLS is a certification for a professional licensed surveyor.
correct. So it has to be a stamped plan. It gets labeled 81L. It does get signed by planning. You know, and then it's basically labeled a perimeter plan and it will say Newtown Cemetery, you know, or something like that. And then I think we'd probably reference that plan, you know, for a taking, but also in the warrant article would be the goal anyways.
Okay, well, it sounds like we're underway with that. At least we have a sort of a plan.
Well, it doesn't give us control of 40, 42, and 44.
Which is what we've been,
And the messy land up by Cow Pond is basically the corner of
yeah.
40.
And if we want to clear out the brush and clean it up, it's exactly those parts that we want
Yeah.
to work on.
So Tracy, don't take it off your list.
I think that, I mean, I can't say because it just takes a lot of vetting out and I want to go one step at a time. And I think the objective here is to get at least the cemetery part in your care and custody. And then on terms on those 3 parcels, to be very honest, we haven't taken them by eminent domain. We would have to set aside a damage award. Even if nobody makes the claim, we still have to set it aside. We have to go through that process. And the town isn't prepared to do that right now. And
It
then,
hasn't been prepared to do it for years and years.
right, and we may, and maybe we won't. I mean, I don't know, but you know, how much money do we put aside? We have to have an appraisal done and all of that. So there is a process to it. There is a risk to it. It starts with title, so we are getting the title on all of it. And, you know, then going forward, even if, I mean, we can't even license it to you. So I don't even know what to say. It's kind of, you know, it's part of it, but I just don't think that, I think that we know the cemetery part, the existing layout for 46 is there. And so I feel like it's important to go with that rather than try to like get the whole thing. But it's your decision. It's your
But-
decision.
Do remember, Tracy, there are graves in 40, 42, and 44. We know that.
It's not as if there's a cemetery and then there's this other thing. This other thing is part of the cemetery and it was mistakenly divided off from the cemetery in the 1990s.
1998.
But there are people buried in those other.
There-
Yes.
Saying it's mistakenly subdivided off, but it really isn't because no plan exists. No plan exists.
It sounds like the low hanging fruit is the big lot now, get that done and then work on the others.
I agree.
But you're talking to people, at least a couple of us who are in our 80s, and you know, we would like to live to see this done.
Well, the other thing is that the town has 9 cemeteries. The only place we have lots for sale is out at Pulpus. And we just added another 100 lots out there. But the original 100 lots that we laid out went in the last, 10, 15 years or so. So there is a need for additional burial space. in, for the town. There is, of course, Prospect Hill or St.
Yeah.
Mary's.
So,
but-
so you're sort of hoping that that additional burial space can be
Well-
carved out of Newtown Cemetery, but we,
Tracy, will there be a way in the interim for us to survey 40, 42, and 44 with a thorough ground penetrating radar survey? As part of the preparation for whatever it is we would like to do.
I wouldn't, I don't know, Lee. I mean, I just think you guys are gonna have to make a decision. And it's really difficult to put, you know, there's warrant articles out there, as you know, that broke up 42, 40, you know, like I have like maybe 8 different warrant articles with never moving forward. And I just, you know, given the path is there now and the amount of people who use it and all of the other things there, that would take going through every single channel through the town for the whole. I mean, it would. I just, they're not going to give up the path at this point. I can tell you that.
Well, I think there's, as a type, it is owned by the town though, correct?
We don't know.
It's not, none of it's been taken by eminent domain, Charlie.
So who's, I'm just trying to think this through. If we want, like,
It's what we call, in title world, we call that owners unknown.
okay.
Okay,
And,
well,
and Charlie, I keep saying, it's been a cemetery since the early 19th century or even older. And the town never bothered to record it.
Right.
But they were burying people there. They put a fence up, and in 1913 it was mapped. With the abutters being the people I was able to find by a backward trace of the deeds. So the abutters that I found were the same that's on the 1913 map.
Do this, if somebody has a cemetery on their property, right? It's their home and they have a cemetery on it and they bury family members back there. Does that change the title?
It's an interesting question, Tracy, because if it's been a cemetery for over 100 years and it's been determined that there are burials, according to state law, it's a cemetery, which means they would have trouble conveying it.
okay, well, we can discuss this further.
I've given Tracy a bone for.
So-
I'm just saying, like, I think that we should go, you know, it's my suggestion that you consider ordering an 81L on the existing 46 and
We're
leave
with-
this other piece out for now. But you can
we're
make
with
any
you.
decision you want to make.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement here.
your question was, well, you started to ask a question and
Mm,
you're interrupted. It started with where would we? Well, sorry.
Oh,
All right,
no, the question was, as part of the preparation for the additional work, not the 81L for 46, but in anticipation of something a year or two from now, may we obtain permission to survey?
Well, I'm not going to give you that today. I think I'd have to ask other people.
So let's get the 81L for 46 first.
That's what I would do.
We're all in favor.
we're all in favor.
All
Now,
right.
we have to find out some costs, and for the next agenda, we would locate somebody, identify somebody, and approve it.
Yep.
Would that be soon enough? Be the December meeting.
I hope so. I think so. I mean, I have the warrant articles, you know, it's in my list. So that's what I'm looking for, is to make sure that I have something for town meeting.
Well, let us know what the schedule is, because we can always have an extraordinary meeting if we need to do it sooner.
Okay,
Great. All right, thank you, Tracy.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. I'm not going to stay for the rest.
Thanks, Tracy.
Almost.
All right.
Okay, so that takes us to item number 8, thoughts and discussion regarding future projects and so on. I think I'd rather leave that for December meeting. Um,
Okay, we have some things hanging, the Boston Monument, which we need from, Scotty. The, monument approvals for, O'Sullivan, for Kathy, let me get it straight. Kathy Held, Maureen O'Sullivan, and George Davis, the latter two on one stone. And then, Charlie, we need, estimate for surveying. I can't imagine it would be that tough. 4 corners.
And surveying, we actually don't have to put out to bid. We're not required to bid surveying work.
Okay,
So I can, and if the commission wants to grant me authority, if I reach out and get a decent price,
yes.
I will
go
start
ahead.
ahead. So we don't have to wait until next meeting for authorization.
Let me make a note to that.
Okay, is there any other business?
Yes.
Yes, Fran?
Well, there are a couple of things. As I mentioned earlier, once the research library reopens, Barbara and I do have a plan to try to find out
Mhm.
some number based on death notices of how many people probably are buried in the Quaker Cemetery. That's one thing. I have something new to announce. As you know, we've shown the cemetery film twice now at the Dreamland, once in the spring and once last month. And we've shown it at the Salt Marsh and our island home and
Did you do the afternoon?
the Athenaeum. So we are on a program to show it in Helsinki, Finland in May at the American Studies Conference. And now the organizers of the Roxbury Film Festival in Boston have approached Paul Sanderson about showing the film in their 2026 Roxbury Film Festival. And they obviously do want it because they're waiving the application fee.
Wow.
So Paul asked Barbara and me, and I think he included you in the email about, can he go ahead and submit it? And Barbara and I said, of course. And I said,
Exactly.
yeah. So, but I did say, we're just about to have our cemetery commission meeting and we'll bring it before all the commissioners, but I think this is very nice.
I think we'll accept that as a report,
Mhm.
and I don't think it needs a vote. I think it's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else to come before the commission this afternoon?
No, but I need to go. I'm sorry. I have another.
I know, already. All right,
Usually have a meeting
I
before.
declare that the meeting is adjourned.
Okay.